Hello. So good to meet you at our global motivational meeting. We are reading World Scriptures book. These God's words that inspire billions of people, families, communities, countries, and the whole world. And will help you to just read these quotes and practice your daily life. Think about that God could give you tips for happy life and prosperity. As we're reading this holy book from the beginning, please find all the chapters at our Message to Billion channel. Also, you may turn on suggestion playlist, choose the best one for you, and listen God's words. Stay blessed all the day. And as we're reading now about society and the peace, let's read further what God prepares for us today. Building a culture of peace that unites the peoples of the earth as one. First quote, "Oh mankind, we created you from a single pair of male and female and made you into nations and tribes that you might know each other, not that you might despise each other." Another quote, "For the development of a peaceful, friendly human family, of a nations with a rich variety of faith and political economical systems, each of us has the responsibility to strive towards such harmony. There is no alternative." Another quote, "Since wars begin in the minds of man, it is in the minds of man that the defense of peace must be constructed. That ignorance of each other's way and lives has been a common cause throughout the history of mankind, of that suspicion and mistrust between the peoples of the world, through which their differences have all too often broken into war. That a peace based exclusively upon the political and economic arrangement of governments would not be a peace which could secure the unanimous, lasting, and sincere support of the people of the world, and that the peace must therefore be founded, if it is not to fail, upon the intellectual and moral solidarity of mankind." Another quote, "Peace is something that you and I or a few great souls can create at once, by command. Even a million Christoph or Krishnas could not do it. Try as he would, Lord Krishna could not prevent the great war between the Pandavas and the Kauravas, which is described in the Mahabharata. All humanity has to become Christ-like, to bring peace on earth, when each one of us shapes his life according to the wisdom and the example of a Christ, a Krishna, a Buddha. We can have peace here, not before. So long as God's children differently, we are Indians and you are Americans, we are Germans and you are English, so long will they be bound by delusion and the world divided. Much war and suffering and destruction will be prevented if we choose to emphasize differences and learn to love all without distinction or prejudice. Be more proud that you are made in the image of God than that you are a certain nationality for American and Indian, and all the other nationalities are just outer costs which in time will be discarded. But you are a child of God throughout eternity. Isn't it better to teach that ideal to children? It is the only way to peace. Establish the true ideals of peace in the schools and live peace in your own life." Another quote, "Let there be a small country with a few inhabitants through the labor-saving contributors, the people would not use them. Let the people mind that and not migrate far. Though there be both carriages, there would be no occasions to ride in them. Though there be armor and weapons, there would be no occasion to display them. Let the people revert to the practice of knotting ropes instead of writing, and be contented with their food, pleased with their clothing, satisfied with their houses, and happy with their customs. And though there be a neighboring country in sight, and the people hear each other's cock crowing and dogs barking, they would grow old and die without having anything to do with each other. Further illustrated quotes from the second coming Messiah, Father Simon Moon. In the 21st century, people will not be able to exercise dominion on the earth or even exist there while disregarding the ultimate principle of the creator. The future of humanity will require closer relationships among people. In the future, people will have no choice but to live very closely together, transcending their religion, nationality, or race. And other words, the vision of global family will become a reality. People will not only have to understand others who have different religions, culture, traditions, and lifestyles. They will have to accept them and interrelate with them. No individual or group will be able to selfishly maintain its own sanctuary. Today, on every level, boundaries cause division and conflict. If we can eliminate all the boundaries in the world, a world of peace will inevitably be came about. We must recognize who owns those boundaries. Clearly, it is not God. It is was devil, Satan, who first created boundaries. So wherever a boundary exists, there is always the devil and his cohorts. This is a result of the human fall. When the first human ancestors switched their lineage and good and evil began to diverge from each other, when we look at the division between the East and West, we see that the different cultural spheres have led to antagonism at their boundaries, and that the devil is accompanied there. It was Satan, not God, who created boundaries by digging all sorts of traps and immersing people in racial discrimination and evil culture, histories, and traditions. God desires is for a world of goodness and unity, a world of honest in which all humanity lives as one great family. Boundaries have no place in such a world. In a world without boundaries, there can be no enemies. The concept of enemy entails the existence of boundaries. When we love our enemies and make honest with them, the boundaries between us will collapse. That is why God's strategy and tactic has always been love your enemy. There can be no greater strategy for peace than that. Throughout history, this incredible fact has escaped humanity's understanding, and it has yet to be grasped even in modern time. The spirit world does not acknowledge national boundaries and transcends them. It transcends them. We were given the responsibility to lead this dispensation on earth, hence we all have to go beyond national boundaries. We bring Asian people to live in the West and Western people to the Orient, but by virtue of this work, Oriental spirits are able to live in the West, and Western spirits can move to the East. Muslim spirits can visit the Christian world, and Christian spirits can visit the Islamic world. Before this work was done, they were separated from one another. But now they can come and go anywhere they want. Movement to make external unity have come into being. like the European Union that permits Europeans to travel freely throughout Europe. No power has success in blocking this trend. The world can have a future only when people are free to move about and live anywhere on Earth. Yet still America restricts immigration, and the communists prevent their people from living. That is not our way in the Unification Church. We don't say only whites can join or the blacks are not welcome. I came from Asia, but I don't say that anyone who is not an Asian should live. We are colorblind and recognize no borders. Once true love is perfected in the human world, what possible political, economic, cultural, or environmental problems could persist? In the world of true love, every problem can be solved. It is a world of freedom, peace, and happiness, replete with joy. It is the world of God's ideal. It is a world where joy and happiness are magnified infinitely and eternally, and where everyone has the right to equal position, equal participation, and equal inheritance. In the future, there will be no fighting. Up to now, we have had the useless fight centering on the self. People fought to rob each other. In the unified world under God's sovereignty, where people live for the sake of others, there will be no need for wars. Brothers do not need to rob each other. Rather, a needy person will have to run away as others try to give him more than he can use. Laws will all disappear. When all people govern themselves by love, they will observe the law automatically. If all people practice love for the sake of others, there will be no crime. Higher and lower became one, and from and back, left and right, all became one. When minorities can receive equal benefits from the system, and when advantageous nations supply the less advanced nations with the technology in the spirit of helping them become economically independent instead of exploiting them and their resources, then humankind will eliminate war and starvation. And then the conditions will be right for God's love to blossom and open the hearts of all humankind to establish the world of peace. We should go beyond racism and even overcome the whole world with this thought. In the future, the 5 races should become one, because God's love is one, and because God beholds beauty in holiness. God's interests and affection cannot differ among the lands he created. Interracial marriage is a symbol of God's love and will. Even the secular world recognizes that love does not respect national borders. How much more it is true in God's dominion. God's love is fundamentally different from the tragic bonds of love forming the world historically dominated by power and authority. God's love does not just seek individual security and self-interest. It is the way of dedication for the benefit of God, the world, and all humankind. For the sake of peace and human welfare, I propose that we build a passage for transit across the Bering Strait, where Satan has historically divided East and West, and North and South, and where the North American and Russian land masses are separated. This passage, which I call the World Peacekeeping Bridge and Tunnel, will link an international highway system that will allow people to travel and on land from Africa's Cape of Good Hope to Santiago, Chile, and from London to New York, across the Bering Strait. connecting the world as a single community. God is warning that he will no longer tolerate separation and division. Carrying out this project will bind the world together as one village. It will tear down the man-made walls of race, culture, religions, and country, and establish the world of peace that has been the God's cherished desire. The United States and Russia can become one. The European Union, China, India, Japan, Brazil, and all nations, and also the world religions can combine the energies to succeed in this project. The success of this project will be decisive in establishing the kingdom of peaceful ideal world where people will no longer make war with each other. So powerful quotes for today. If you have difficulties, please watch one more time this video, share this video as the end this video, and happy life subscribers marathon. Contact me for consultation, cooperation, and become a member of this Heavenly Parents Holy Community globally. Receive Heavenly Kingdom citizenship right now. The contact is below. Stay happy, healthy. See you tomorrow. And till then, turn on social playlist and listen God's words. Stay blessed all the day. Bye bye. Yours, Nicolae.